Oh snap. Yeah, man. What's going on there, YouTube?
What's up, YouTube?
This is JBS. This is SCL0320.
Holla at your boys.
You see we rocking the Florida shirts. We just came back from Orlando, Florida for an awesome 3 to 4 day experience that we got a lot of information and a lot of different like pictures and video. We can't wait to share with y'all, and a certain video we're going to be creating really soon. Be honest with y'all, where I am right now, as you can notice, this is not the normal couch. No, we've not relocated. We are actually currently in my hometown, which is called Washington, North Carolina. For any of y'all Washingtonians out there, L-Dub, Little Washington, the original 1776 Washington. Before there was a conceived Washington, D.C., there was Washington, Little Washington. You're quite honest in reality. But this is where I'm from. And what y'all hearing right back in the background is most likely my parents making a lot of noise. I told them, I was like, y'all please hold it down for a little bit, because we got a review waiting for y'all right now. We just went and we watched the brand new Mission Impossible 5 Rogue Nation. This is going to be a non-spoiler review section. We may go back and do a spoiler review, not sure yet, because we're super tired. We've been driving like all day, all night. We drove 10 hours and a half, like starting yesterday and then getting here at 5 o'clock early in the morning. So we're sleep deprived, we're worn out physically, mentally, but he was like, you know what, Joe, we watched a good movie, let's go ahead and go into it. So, off the gate, before we even kind of go into anything, did we enjoy this movie? I really did. I went in with really low expectations of this because I really had a bad taste in my mouth from Ghost Protocol. I think I'm going to go into why, but the rest of them I really liked. I liked the first one, the second one, which is really, in my opinion, underrated as far as action films. The third one I really liked, Philip Seymour Hoffman, but the fourth one just didn't resonate with me as well. But this one I really, really enjoyed. How did you feel about this one, Joe?
I mean, out of all of them, I think that this one's one of the best ones. Yeah, I think it's one of the best ones. As far as the length of the movie is concerned, and the different, where the plot goes, it kept me guessing the entire movie, which I like. But I mean, throughout the franchise, especially with the latter two, including this one, I mean, they definitely kept you, guessing of what's going to happen next.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's what I enjoyed most about this movie is where the plot took you.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of elements that went to the back fold of this story that that they touched on. It was like it kind of brought it full circle, but at the same time, you couldn't really predict what was going to happen, which is good with any Mission Impossible movie, or even any movie with espionage. You definitely don't know, the fog of war, so to speak, is definitely the element that you can't really anticipate.
Yeah, so, for sure.
That's my favorite aspect.
Yeah, I think that this is a good segue to go into the visuals and just the look of this whole entire film. From the jump, like there are certain set pieces and action sequences especially that really blew my mind, because they could have deviated and used a lot of heavy CG. They could have went and done a lot of different other routes with like making this kind of like, a lot of people criticize the Fast and Furious franchise because they go over the top, but at the same exact time they keep the same chemistry, keep the same tight-knit group, and they do as much practical effects as possible, but they do go overboard at certain points. This movie used so many practical effects and so many different chase sequences, action sequences, set pieces. The locations they went for this one is just insane. And I thought that the visuals for this one, even especially the way it was actually shot, I thought that they used a different kind of feel to it. It felt more like a 007 kind of feel and vibe to it. And even like the whole set piece of it had this espionage task for it. One of the other things I'm going to say about this review, if we start perspiring, it's because we turned the fan off. and we want to make sure y'all can be able to hear us. But just to let y'all know, we are suffering right now because of y'all. But in all honesty, I really did appreciate the practical applications for how they did it. The action sequences were on point, especially like the feel of, I think that one scene when it's taking place underwater and above water, when it felt like this pressure cooker. Like you didn't know what, kind of like how I alluded to what Joe said, you don't know what's gonna really happen. And at the same exact time, like, even though this is the Mission Impossible, even though, you know, the main character is Ethan Hunt, that doesn't mean he's necessarily gonna win, or that doesn't mean he's necessarily gonna succeed, because the group that he's against in this one, they're basically the antithesis of what they are directed to do. And they have everything going against them this time. And I really like the visual effects for this one. What do you thought about the visuals, Joe? Especially the camera work.
I mean, they're just amazing. Yeah, they were really good, especially during the action sequences, man. Like, they were pretty crazy. Not to mention like the different chase sequences, and then you had different assignments, you know, that Ethan had to do leading up to like the main goal or whatever. But it's different assignments he had to do, and like just the spectacle of what he had to go through was just like crazy. Yeah. And like not only that, but just like, how do I say this? Like how they had, or what they had him do, just on a scheme of like the spectacle of it, like they're gonna have him do what, you know? And you're watching this, and it's like breathtaking moments that he has to take on. And even like they do a couple scenes where they do a couple close-ups, and like even he looks, you know, like rattled or nervous.
Oh yeah,
the undertaking. So
you real about that, because there are scenes where with him, with Simon Pegg that plays Benji, and even like Jeremy Renner, like William, like there were close-up shots where they were not agreeing with what he was saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? They were really acting. You know what I mean? Like before, like stuff would go down, they would kind of be along for the ride, but they're like, dude, I've been your road dog for this whole entire time. And I guess this is a segue into the actors section of this. I really appreciated the close-up moments. Those small moments where like they're disagreeing with him, or they're wondering and pondering if he knows the gravity of what he's about to do, or even like if he's sure of it. Can he really do this? Like they're not just questioning his motives, but questioning like his own directive, you know. And I thought that was really well done, especially where they shot it. I thought that was really cool. I guess going into the acting, this movie is not like the favorite acting movie. It's not all driven towards like being a showstopper as far as like, man, this acting scene, that was really awesome. But what it does is it allows like people like Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, Jeremy Renner, the brand new addition to this, her name is Rebecca Ferguson. And even like, I didn't even realize Sean Harris, who was in, what was that movie? Oh my gosh. With, oh yeah, Prometheus. And normally he's a redhead. He plays the main bad guy in this one. And like, he was so ominous feeling and different, and like, he felt dangerous. He felt seriously dangerous. But everybody, they brought light to their character, because it didn't feel like they were just repeating themselves. It felt like these people had been in this for a while, and now they're put in this situation. What they're gonna do with it? Like, they only have each other to work on this, and even you don't even know if you can trust each other anymore. And I thought that the acting from that perspective to go along with their characters was done really well. And of course, Tom Cruise, he just nails it. But I think that the new addition, Ferguson, Rebecca Ferguson, that plays Issa, to be quite honest with you, she could be the new Ethan Hunt. Like, she could go and be the new generation. I really honestly felt like Jeremy Renner and her could take the franchise and continue it on without Tom Cruise. Even though Tom Cruise is such a weight and asset to this team, I could feel like he could take a backfold, kind of like Rocky to Creed, you know what I'm saying? Like Creed's son. Like, all right, y'all gonna have to go and do the directive and stuff like that. I really kind of felt that way, especially with her character. I felt like, man, she doing some of the most awesome scenes and acting features, but everything she did was just so cool. And that's what these movies have you keep going back to, because Tom Cruise, every action sequence he's in, he's cool, you know what I mean? And even like there was this plane sequence that was all real, and you don't think it's real. He's sitting there hanging on from a plane, you know, like who does that? And he's about 50-something years old, almost 60 now, pushing 60. Like they're gonna have to progress it on to the next generation, and I think that they could fill that void, in my opinion. But what did you think about the characters and actors?
I think that they all did a good job, especially like playing a movie where like everybody's a spy. Each character, like each actor, I felt like they, cause if I'm like casting or like actors to do roles and all of them are spies, each character had like something about them that made them it made them different or eccentric to another character.
Yeah.
Creatively, that's a hard thing to imagine, like how spies would have different personalities, and I think like each actor did a good job.
Yeah. That's. I mean, I feel the same way. I think that they all brought the different roles to it, and even like Alec Baldwin, like his presence there, his character, that's a whole different way. And that's part of honestly, that's gonna be a different part talking about the story, because I feel like one of the things that helped me with this is I had a small brief synopsis of what this movie was kind of gonna be about. You know, like he was gonna be put through the pressure cooker. He didn't know if he was gonna be able to win. You know, but I had no idea who the actual villain was. I didn't know what his end game was, why he was put in this situation. And that's one of the things that I liked about Ghost Protocol and this one, is that the trailers didn't reveal it to me so much that I was really surprised. And that's one of the things I kind of want to leave with y'all. Like, I don't want to go into necessarily with the story. I don't want to go into like the things. All I can say is that Ethan is brought to this point where you don't know if he's going to be able to win. You don't know if he is actually going with the right pursuits or if it's in vain pursuits. And at the same exact time, you know by now that his team is more than capable of doing this. But at what point are they going to have to put Ethan to the side and get the job done? And that's all I can really say from my perspective of what I want to give y'all, because if you go into this knowing everything, or even like the smallest little hint about what the villain's doing or Alec Baldwin's character, it throws a wrench in it, you know what I'm saying? And I think that you better off going into the movie really surprised, and for the fact that like my mom, my dad, and the people that were there, like everybody was kind of like engulfed into the story. Nobody was kind of like looking at it like, man, this is dragging on. Even though this was a long movie, you were always kept in the suspense of what was gonna happen. And I think I really appreciate that about the story, and I'm not gonna reveal too much about it. But what do you think about the story? What would you want to say about it?
It's definitely like, the plot is really good. It is a long movie, but like as far as like the plot and the story, like what it takes you through, they do a really good job as far as like pacing and just letting you know information, because you start out really knowing little to nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like Ethan and his team, they're like trying to uncover, like even they have to find out things about like some of the characters before they actually find out like about like how they're gonna even take down the final mission, or what is the final mission, or who's the main villain. Like all that stuff like isn't even answered in the first, I don't know, 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Not even the second act of the film.
Yeah, so I mean, like that's good, like because you're going on this journey with the characters, and it's like finding out everything as it continues to unravel. And that's the best thing about it. That's the best word I can use, is just watching this thing unravel.
Yeah, for sure.
and it's a good movie. It's a good. How long was the movie? About 2 hours. I mean, it was a good 2 hours. Like, don't get me wrong, or however long it was. It was a good movie, man.
Yeah, it was
definitely good plot.
It was 2 hours and 11
good
minutes.
Story. Espionage, classic. I give this movie, as far as the story, I give it I give it a 9 or a 10. Just because it's original.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the espionage, there's like some scenes where like I don't want to spoil anything, but
yeah, we got a spoiler review that we're gonna be doing.
But yeah, it's a good movie, man. It's original. I think there are a lot of aspects in the movie that are very original.
Yeah.
That I haven't seen any other like spy movie or any other movies like that.
Yeah.
Because there are certain parts of the movie where it's like people knew that this person was lying, so you had to tell that person had to tell the truth, and it's just weird, and like you don't know who's double dealing and stuff like that. It was crazy. Yeah, I give a story, man, like either a 9 or a 10, man. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the movie as a whole, I think this is one of the best Mission Impossible they've done. And that's the main point I want to give to y'all, is that this really surprised me. I feel like you would go to it. If you looked at the other ones, you're going to really enjoy it without dragging this YouTube out too much longer. I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Out of a whole, as a movie is concerned, I thought that I really appreciate the visuals, so I give that a 10. As far as the acting is concerned, it wasn't anything spectacular, but it's definitely one of the better ones that they've actually done. So I couldn't give it no less than an 8. And then as far as the story, just like him, I give it a 9. So I give it as a whole 8.5 out of 10 as a movie. It's definitely, in my opinion, one of the better action movies that I've seen, and definitely one of the best Mission Impossibles I've seen since the first one and the second one. But for sure, yeah. What about as a whole? What do you give the movie?
As a whole, I mean, I'll give it an 8.
Okay. Well, YouTube, we need to get into some air conditioning. It's getting really hot. And not just that, we don't want to drive too much longer. We're going to probably do a quick spoiler review, which will have air conditioning during the whole entire time, so I'm sorry. Like, we want y'all to be able to hear us, but at the same time, we want to be able to breathe too. This is JVS for our brand new review for Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Thanks everybody for watching. Definitely leave your comments below what you thought about the actual movie if you've seen it already. If not, what you're thinking about anticipating watching it. Definitely leave a like if you actually voted our review. Thanks everybody for subscribing. We out, everybody. Deuces.